Pune, India, a bustling metropolis, teeming with life, dreams, and aspirations. Yet, on a somber evening, the city stood still, united by a collective gasp of horror. A speeding Porsche, a symbol of affluence and extravagance, careened out of control, leaving behind a trail of devastation and despair. 3 innocent lives, snuffed out in an instant. The driver? A young boy, barely old enough to comprehend the magnitude of his actions. News of the tragedy spread like wildfire, igniting a firestorm of grief, anger, and disbelief. The victims, ordinary people leading ordinary lives, were suddenly reduced to mere statistics, their stories tragically cut short. Families shattered, futures extinguished, and a city left grappling with the senselessness of it all. The heart-wrenching images of the mangled wreckage and the inconsolable families of the deceased became etched into the city's collective memory. The incident served as a stark reminder of the fragility of life, the indiscriminate nature of tragedy, and the devastating consequences of recklessness. The city mourned, united in its grief and united in its demand for justice. But as the dust settled and the initial shock subsided, a complex legal battle began to unfold, one that would test the very fabric of India's justice system and ignite a fierce debate about juvenile delinquency, legal accountability, and the very definition of justice itself. The mangled remains of the Porsche stood as a grim testament to the recklessness that had unfolded. Witnesses recounted the chilling scene. The luxury car, a symbol of privilege and wealth, transformed into a deadly projectile, tearing through the streets with terrifying speed. The young boy at the wheel, his face a mask of fear and shock, seemed more a passenger than a driver, overwhelmed by the catastrophic consequences of his actions. The victims, 3 individuals from vastly different walks of life, were united in their tragic fate. A young aspiring entrepreneur on the cusp of realizing his dreams, a loving mother returning home after a long day's work, an elderly gentleman enjoying a peaceful evening stroll. Their lives, filled with hopes, dreams, and aspirations, were extinguished in a heartbeat. The incident served as a stark reminder of the deadly consequences of reckless driving, particularly among affluent youth who often view powerful vehicles as extensions of their identity rather than instruments of potential harm. The Porsche, once a symbol of wealth and status, became a chilling reminder of the responsibility that comes with such privilege, a responsibility tragically ignored on that fateful night. As investigators pieced together the events leading up to the crash, a narrative of recklessness and disregard began to emerge. The young boy, reportedly driving at speeds far exceeding the legal limit, had been seen weaving through traffic, his actions suggesting a blatant disregard for the safety of others. The tragedy, it seemed, was not a mere accident, but a preventable consequence of irresponsible behavior. The juvenile detention center, a stark and unforgiving environment, seemed an ill-fitting place for the young boy at the center of the storm. His youthful face, etched with fear and confusion, reflected the weight of the tragedy that had thrust him into the unforgiving realm of the legal system. Legally a minor, he was nonetheless burdened with the knowledge that his actions had resulted in the loss of 3 innocent lives. The law, designed to protect and rehabilitate, seemed to falter in the face of such a tragedy. On one hand, the boy's age demanded consideration, his youth a mitigating factor in the eyes of the law. His actions, however reckless, could be attributed to immaturity, a lack of judgment, and the impulsivity often associated with adolescence. On the other hand, the gravity of his crime, the sheer magnitude of the loss, fueled public outrage and demands for severe punishment. The families of the victims, grappling with unimaginable grief, sought solace in the scales of justice, their cries for retribution echoing the sentiments of a community shaken to its core. The case ignited a fierce debate about the efficacy of the juvenile justice system, its ability to balance the principles of rehabilitation with the demands for accountability. The boy, caught in the crosshairs of this legal and ethical dilemma, became a symbol of a system grappling with its own complexities, searching for a just resolution in the face of tragedy.